This is a Porsche Panamera S, a high-end sports car worth well over $100,000. Just a few days ago, it was sitting in the port of Hong Kong. With the help of NICB, Customs and Border Protection identified this as one of more than 30 vehicles that have been sent out of this country illegally, and they ordered them back to the U.S. The Port of Los Angeles is the nation's busiest port. Every day, between 500 and 800 cars are exported from here, most of them legally. But this Porsche, along with a 2013 Mercedes S550, were the last of 36 cars returned in the past few weeks after being shipped out in containers bound for the Far East. These were primarily high-end sports cars, luxury sedans, or luxury SUVs. Average value just over $60,000.
There's a Korean gang that basically they hire people that are here on temporary visas, and when their visa is up, they will pay them $4,000, $5,000 just to use their information. And then they use that information to lease vehicles, do real estate fraud, credit card bust outs, you name it. They get all kinds of free money. And by the time the dealership notices that the leased vehicle isn't being paid on, in fact, the crooks sometimes pay on it so that they have it a little longer before the cops actually start looking into it. The dealerships won't start looking into it until they're behind a few payments, which would be 2-3 months down the line. Then they start sending out their repossessors, and then after a while they start looking into it and go, oh wow, this must be fraud, let's call the cops. Well, by then, after the first week this car has been leased, it's in a container and being shipped. And the guy that actually, the name is on the lease, his visa's up, he's going back to Korea and never coming back.
These illegal exports would never have been discovered in time to return them without the joint efforts of Customs, the California Highway Patrol, and NICB, as well as a lucky break. When these cars were put in containers, GPS blocking devices, available on the internet for about $13, were attached to the batteries. One suspicious dealer tried to track one of the cars, but the blocking devices stopped that. What they didn't stop was a LoJack tracking device that was installed on one of the cars. When authorities received that signal, they ordered the container returned, and that started the ball rolling.
The company that's exporting these vehicles hired a middleman, a broker, to export these containers on them on paper. They basically gave them false manifests that the cargo within these containers was used furniture at a value of under $2,500. It was itemized in detail. The broker took it for its face value and set it up for export. We did research on the company and discovered that there were 17 other containers associated with the LoJack shipment. They were all on the water, destined to Hong Kong. From there, we found out that the commodity was the same, the value was the same, all the manifests were exactly the same. So we sent a letter of return to the carriers demanding that all the containers be returned to the U.S. They came in batches. So every time we would open these containers to do an inspection, sure enough, high-end vehicles, all stolen from dealerships from Southern California, Las Vegas, Beverly Hills. A huge find. There's a huge demand for American cars. One being that the value of the vehicles sold in the Asian countries is about 3 times more than it is here. So a car that's $40,000 would sell for $120,000, $150,000. There's huge tariffs involved as well when importing the vehicles from the U.S. into Hong Kong, for example. They'd be paying between 30 to 50% tariff on the vehicle as well. So if they're smuggling them into the country, they're making a killing on the profit. They're not paying the duty in the import side, and they're getting a free vehicle basically, minus the $6,000 or $3,000 that they paid for that first down payment. A lot of these vehicles have already had buyers set up with the exact description. They want leather seats, they want rims, they want the GPS, so forth. All those things are already set up. So when the subjects that walk into the dealerships, this is what I want. Here's a check. The dealerships unknowingly has a valid person in front of them. Hand over the car, and within 2 days it's gone. I mean, the turnaround is so quick. It's scary.
NICB Special Agent Lou Coven works hand in hand with Customs and the Highway Patrol at the port, providing vital information on cars being presented for export and helping identify suspect vehicles.
As we run those vehicles up, we look to see if they're registered. If they're not registered, we're going through NICB records, we're pulling up who the dealers are, tracking them back to the financial folks and having them check to see if the vehicles have been financed and if they're still wanted. NICB, we're kind of like the adhesive that keeps the package together. We're helping the Highway Patrol identify the vehicles and find out who the legal owners are on it, and we're helping the Customs folks putting that stuff together so they can prevent the vehicles from going out. Customs needs to know, is this a stolen vehicle? And the only way they know that information is the work that we do to put it together for them.
Trying to inspect every container that goes out of the port would bring trade to a standstill. So customs officials need the support of NICB and the finance industry to really go after the criminals behind these theft rings.
In order to make either a criminal seizure or do some arrest warrants and go after people, we have to have the evidence behind it. If we don't have something that states that this vehicle was stolen or that there's a victim out there, then we can't, as far as we're concerned, it's just a smuggling situation, you know, and that limits us as far as what we can do. Yeah, we can seize the vehicle and do that, but if we have more documents to support that there's more of a criminal element, the organization involved, then we have more bang, you know, we have more teeth in the bite.
From the Port of Los Angeles, I'm Roger Morris for the National Insurance Crime Bureau.